What's up all you wonderful cripples and non-cripples out there? Welcome to my channel. My name is Daz Bartley and this is So today's video I'm going to tell you a few tips on the type of equipment that you need for starting a YouTube channel. For the first tip is audio. Now you'll find that some videos on YouTube, the audio is great, but the imagery is not very great. Most people don't mind as long as you can hear what's going on. So it helps that you have a decent microphone. iPhones are great for microphones, but they're not directional. They don't face where the camera's pointing at. So background noise is quite terrible if you're out and about using an iPhone. So I recommend getting a DSLR camera. You can have Nikon, Canon, Fujitsu, anything, as long as it has a hot shoe plate at the top that you could clamp a microphone to. Now I have a Rode VideoMic Go that I purchased on Amazon. They go as little as £30, I think, all the way up to about 80-90 pound. The one I've got was actually about 59 quid, I think, £59. My man is a directional microphone, so I'll demonstrate it. It is now pointing at my face, so the audio is pretty good. Now I have a Rode microphone, which is a directional microphone, that basically it'll only pick up the sound clear when it is pointing at the direction of me or whatever you're shooting. So if I was to move over here, you'll notice that the sound goes a little bit muffled, so to speak. And if I go right the way back here, the audio should still pick me up from quite a good distance away. I am now a good 8 foot, no, further than that, about 12-13 foot away from the microphone, and you should still be able to hear me quite clearly. See, these microphones are good for outdoor use because they come equipped with a windshield on it. If you're recording in, say, windy conditions, then I recommend getting something called a cat shield. It slides over the microphone. It's just a big furry thing. You'll see them on the TV sometimes. Well, that stops any wind from outside coming at the camera, so therefore you can't hear the person's voice. I don't personally do a lot of videos outside because my arms don't work, so I can't therefore hold the camera. I'd love to do a lot of outdoor shots, but unfortunately I can only rely on a couple of mates to hold the camera for me. Now, I like the Rode microphone because you don't have, I'm speaking quite quietly now, but before, just with a normal DSLR microphone, the DSLR camera's microphone, you have to shout quite loud, I think. Luckily I live on my own, so if I had to shout, it's not really, doesn't affect anyone else. But with this Rode microphone, you don't have to speak very loudly, and it'll pick you up quite clearly. And I'll come a bit closer. And now my mouth is probably about 12-14 inches away from the microphone head. It probably seems quite loud to you now. I haven't changed my voice in any way. I'm still talking the way I normally talk, and it should be quite loud. Now, if you want it to go really loud, unfortunately you have to go up close to it like that, so therefore you're not really on frame of the camera. The next tip is lighting. Lighting is a big key for filming video because it makes the quality of your face come out, or the quality of the background. Now, I personally use a photographer light. I'll try and spin it around at the minute so you can see what I use. I don't know, I don't really want to. So that's what I use. I just use a bog standard. I'll spin it right around now. Sorry guys. as I said, I use a photographer light stand. I don't have the cover over the front because I feel like when it's more directional, the light's more directional if you don't have the shield over the front of the photographer light. Also, I have a little light on top of my DSLR camera that is also, it's quite bright as well, so it brings out the colour of your face. I unfortunately don't have the room. I would like to get another photographer light on the right hand side of me so I don't have a little shadow. I do have another photographer light which is in the spare room, but I just don't have the room in the lounge where I do my videos. I also have a little studio in the spare room where I do some of my filming. I have a green screen, a black screen and a white screen up on the wall, but fortunately the paint on the walls is rubbish and they just keep falling down. The stand that I have to have over the screen is they're not very grippy. I need it off the floor as well because of the wheels. Step 3, I recommend you have a clear background. I know I don't at the minute, but because I'm in the lounge and I'm only doing vlog style videos, you don't really necessarily need a white background, but to bring the light out in your face more, it kind of bounces off the black, white or green sheet, whatever you use, and then bounces back at you. So I recommend getting a white screen because the light doesn't travel further than you. I have my camera set on a tripod as well. I don't know what height it goes. I'm quite small when I'm like sitting in my chair, so I have it quite low to the ground. It could probably extend another a meter, 2 meters upwards. The legs are only about half extended at the minute. The pole in the middle, don't know what it's called, so I don't know if it's a pole in the middle. That's extended up all the way, just because it's a lot easier for me. I can swivel it around, angle it up and down, all by using my mouth, so it's all the right height. Also, with the legs being smaller, I can move the tripod along the floor a lot easier for me with my foot as well. So that helps. Tip 4, I film all my videos at 60 frames per minute, which works out about 1080p, which is full HD. My computer, for some reason, it'll let me edit it in 1080p, but playback it won't. It seems to go a bit, it seems a bit jumpy. So I can edit it, but I can't play it back. But I can view it once it's on YouTube. I always shoot in 1080p, just because I find that it's good for slow motion shots as well. I don't really do many slow motion shots, but I'll do one now just to demonstrate. It's a little more, it's not so jolty at 60 frames per second if you want to do fast movement or slow movement. That's pretty much it for my setup. Tip 5 is editing. Now, I really enjoy the editing part because I'm quite good with a computer. I spend most of my day on a PC. Now, I use a program called Movavi, Movivi. I'll put their link for their website in the description below. Movavi is like the equivalent to the iMovie. I find it quite easy to use. I'm not a beginner in editing, so I find it quite easy to use. Beginners, I wouldn't recommend it because it's just quite a bit to get your head around. But I found that Movavi was the cheapest one out there. When I bought it, it was about $49.99, and that doesn't happen. That's unlimited, so you don't have to renew it in a year. But other ones I also recommend is iMovie if you have an Apple. Windows Movie Maker is okay. It's good for beginners doing different type of videos. Gaming, it can record desktop screen. But when I record desktop screen, I use a program called OBS, which is Open Broadcasting Software. It's free to download. I got mine from cnet.com, I think. I'll probably put the link for the download in the description as well. I like that software because you can get the webcam in the recording itself as well. You can't record two monitors at the same time, but you can pick what you can swap between the two, I think, while recording. Some screen capture software doesn't actually record the mouse as well, movements. I prefer it when you do have the mouse, because when I'm talking in a video, you can move the mouse and you can point to where you're talking about pretty much. That's pretty it for the tips. You have to kind of start with a lot of you need money to start. At the minute I'm filming now on my iPhone. Now it's quite good quality on the iPhone 6. I'm filming on this video. I'm actually filming on the iPhone 6 to show you guys the difference. You need a lot of lighting with iPhone 6. I have my external microphone plugged into the head jack socket. It's just a 3.5mm head jack, and I use a little thing called, well, it's not little, it's quite big, called an iographer. It's basically a case that sits on a tripod. It's got the screw underneath as well, the tripod hole, and it's got brackets on the top that has the microphone and an external light on as well, and it holds your phone in the middle of it, and it's got two handles on the left and the right, so you can turn it around with steady hands instead of shaking and trying to tap on the screen. It's not cheap. The whole lot cost me around about £162. It doesn't all come as the one kit, and when you purchasing it, make sure you get it for that model of phone, because they have iPhone 6 Plus, 6. I think they do 5 and 5S. I'm not sure. I nearly made that mistake of buying the 6S one when I don't have a 6S. They do look the same size, but they're actually not. But the good thing about these cases, it's got a ring on the outside of the camera on the front where you can actually screw in different type of lenses as well. The lenses each are about £56 to £60. They have I don't know what it's called. Telephonic lens, I think that's it, ×2. They have a macro zoom lens, which is mainly for, like, say if you had a ladybird on the table and you want to take a picture of it. It has a really good zoom on it, and it still brings it out crisp and clear. They also have a wide angle lens. The wide angle lens is a little bit, it's about £70 to £75 on Amazon. But I do recommend getting these lenses because, don't get me wrong, the iPhone 6 lens is amazing. You can get pretty much what you want from the iPhone 6. So if you're wanting to start a YouTube channel with the iPhone, I do recommend getting the iographer, an external microphone, and a light as well, if you don't have much lighting in the surroundings where you're filming. I recommend as well getting a photographer light, just because it brings out your face, so you can actually feel like you're interacting with the viewers, instead of just a pitch dark room that you can't really see what's going on. As long as the audio is top notch, then you're not going to get any worries about it. That's pretty much it for my tips I have. Yeah, but I recommend you getting an iographer or a DSLR camera. With the DSLR camera, I've had to order an adapter for the hot shoe, so I can have the microphone and the external light on it as well. So hopefully that'll arrive soon. So yeah, this is filming on the iPhone 6 today. There's probably not much difference because the actual lenses, they're not actually that much different from the DSLR. Only thing with the DSLR camera, you can interchange the lenses and you can set the ISO and stuff like that on it, but you can't with an iPhone. I hope my tips helped you out today, and I'll leave some of the links in the description of where to get the iOgrapher, the microphone, and the external lights, and the photographer lights as well. So you can check them out in the link in the description below. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like it, please give it a like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.